Native people, Native culture, Native knowledge. Hi, I'm Jeannie Green, bringing you award-winning Heartbeat Alaska.
Bringing you national and international Native news, this is award-winning Heartbeat Alaska, the premier Native voice in Native programming.
There's a heartbeat, louder than thunder, revolution is in the air. There's a heartbeat deep inside our mother. Are you too cool to care?
Now, with Heartbeat Alaska, here's Jeannie Green.
Hello, welcome to Heartbeat Alaska, Native News and Native Entertainment. I'm Jeannie Green, thanking you for joining us. So glad to have you with us. Today we have Native news all the way from Florida, Hollywood, Florida, and the Seminole Tribe, to northern Alaska, to Shishmaref, Alaska with the Inupiats, and villages and cities in between, like news from Nome, Alaska. Here's Gary Fife with Up to the Minute, Native news across the nation. I'll be back right after that, so don't go away.
This is Native News Across the Nation. I'm Gary Fife. The Native American Rights Fund has filed what's being called the largest lawsuit ever brought against the United States government for fiscal mismanagement. In their first-of-a-kind ruling, a federal judge has granted certification to a class of more than 300,000 individual Indian Trust Fund account holders. They're suing the government for gross mismanagement of the trust fund accounts. Native lawyers say it could total up to billions in missing, lost, or stolen funds. A team of health professionals from South America has been on a recent visit to several Indian Health Service facilities in the Southwest. They were there to observe how the IHS and tribes deliver health care to rural areas. The visitors from the Pan American Health Organization were very interested in how tribes are taking over and how to set up collaborations with their northern neighbors. The government has published an interim rule to put teeth into the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. The National Park Service has issued the regulation to fill the void until the final rules come out. The purpose of the action is to assess civil penalties for museums who are required to comply, but who have not. The work of an Inuit ambassador from Canada has caught the attention of Maclean's magazine. Mary Simon, Canada's first Inuit ambassador for circumpolar affairs, has been named to Maclean's 11th annual honor roll. Simon was cited for her work in job creation and environmental preservation. We once again would like to say thank you to those of you who have been sharing your news. It certainly makes a difference in what I do here and for Heartbeat Alaska. We want you to do more of it. We're going to tell you how, and I'll be right back with more Native news across the nation.
Contact Heartbeat Alaska with your news. Heartbeat Alaska, 5861 Arctic Boulevard, Unit B, Anchorage, Alaska, 99518. That's Heartbeat Alaska, 5861 Arctic Boulevard, Unit B, Anchorage, Alaska, 99518. Or give us a call at 1-907-563-7440 or fax us at 1-907-563-9309. Heartbeat Alaska, your news is our news.
Heartbeat Alaska is made possible in part by Spacemark Incorporated, native owned by the Aleut Corporation, delivering service, operations, and maintenance worldwide. Spacemark, dedicated to making your business a success. And by Ute Air Alaska, official airlines of Heartbeat Alaska. Ute Air Alaska, taking you home. Heartbeat Alaska is brought to you in part by the Division of Alcoholism and Drug Abuse and the Alaska Council on Prevention of Alcohol and Drug Abuse. Together, preventing substance abuse statewide.
Ada Deer has a new job. Indian Country Today reports that the soon-to-be former Assistant Secretary for Indian Affairs will move and head up the National Indian Gaming Commission, at least on a temporary basis. Deer will take over from Harold Monto, who resigned at the end of January. A partnership of Bureau of Indian Affairs schools and private industry is teaming up to put BIA schools on the internet. The idea is to share curricula and resources between schools, but they say the information should be available to anyone on the World Wide Web. Finding the funds to pay for college is often one of the hardest tasks facing Native students, so here's a bit of news that they may find welcome. The American Indian Graduate Center is taking applications for fellowships for full-time students. For more information, contact the American Indian Graduate Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The deadline is June 1st. One way to ease tensions and make improvements for North Dakota tribes is to have them represented in the state legislature, or at least one legislator thinks so, even if it is on a non-voting basis. State Senator Les LaFountain, who is a member of the Turtle Mountain Chippewa, proposed a bill to seat 4 non-voting delegates from each of the 4 tribes in the state in both the House and in the Senate. And finally, in Montana, the Nike Shoe Corporation will be helping build recreation programs for Northern Cheyenne girls. The athletic shoe giant selected the Montana Cheyenne program out of more than 120 applicants. The money will go to run a girls' sports tournament and a mentor program. The idea was to give the young women some opportunities and positive reinforcement. This is Native News Across the Nation. I'm Gary Fife, and we'd like to say thank you very much to the brand new viewers across the nation. We certainly appreciate you paying attention to our program. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, collect, and let Jeannie know that you're watching. Thanks.
Thank you, Gary Fife, for Native News Across the Nation. Up to the minute, national and international Native news from one of the top Native journalists in the United States of America, our own Gary Fife. We travel now to Shishmaref, Alaska, where a tradition among the Inupiaq natives there has turned into an industry. No, this isn't the Iditarod. It's a dog race, though, Shishmaref, Alaska style. Shishmaref is located on the Sarachif Island between the Chukchi Sea and Shishmaref Inlet. Shishmaref is home to around 550 people, mostly Inupiats, a northern people who once lived and clothed themselves strictly from the land and sea. Shishmaref is just 20 miles south of the Arctic Circle and only 100 miles east of Siberia. The original name for the island is Qikiqtaq. Lieutenant Kotzebue named the inlet Shishmaref in 1816 after Captain Shishmaref, who accompanied him on his exploration. Archaeologists excavated some of the sites at Qikiqtaq around 1821 and found evidence of Eskimo habitation. Shishmaref is surrounded by 2.6 million acre Bering Land Bridge National Preserve. It's considered to be part of the land bridge over which prehistoric hunters traveled from Asia to North America. Today's natives supplement their income by reaching back into time, making use of tradition, like skin sewing. Cottage industry slippers are made with northern Alaskan sealskins, harbor or spotted, ring or common, and young bearded or ugruk seals. They're locally native manufactured and hand-produced. The slippers are trimmed with beaver around the ankle, felt coordinating with the hand-beaded design on the front. The bottom is leather. The Shishmaref Tannery also offers sales in tanned hides and furs. The tannery's been open since 1990. They began with approximately 50 sales a month and now sell approximately 100 to 200 large hides per month, handling a list of 1,200 customers worldwide. Shishmaref, Alaska, a village in the north filled with enterprising people, a village with the reputation of providing quality native artwork and native furs.
Sewing class first learned to make little hacky sacks like this because of the kind of stitches that they'll need to make beaver hats, booties, mittens, slippers, and that's all in this hacky sack, the same stitches used.
Students in Shishmaref learn to sew, skin sewing and beading in school. The skin sewing could be a source of income later in life. That and another tradition, ivory carving.
So that's basically what our students learn how to carve. After they learn how the basic shape works, they can create styles of their own. Again,
Perhaps the students will one day be as accomplished as instructor John Sinnock. John Sinnock was raised in Shishmaref, Alaska. He too started carving in high school. His work, as well as many other artists, is highly regarded around the world.
another piece I did out of whalebone is the strummer. Again, the face is already inlaid in. The eyes are etched in. And the drum and stick are made out of whalebone and reindeer antler.
It's been said the art of a person reveals their heart and soul. If that's true, the beauty of this village's work is inspired from its people, a nurturing source of warmth on the icy shores of the north. We travel now south from Shishmaref, Alaska to Nome, Alaska, and look at another native-owned business, this time an airline. It's called Olson Airline. With the world-famous Iditarod race underway, Nome, Alaska is in the news, and it will be for the next month. Gold rushes and dog races. Let's face it, Nome, Alaska is one famous city. Most people around here are familiar with the history of the area. Perhaps the most interesting history are the people themselves, like the owners of Olson Air.
Well, my dad started the airlines back in the early 50s, and his grandfather came over from Norway, Finland area with the reindeer herders, and came over to help the Eskimos show them how to care for their reindeer herds. And that's how the Olson came about. And he married a native lady, and they had children, and my dad happens to be one of the grandchildren, and he was raised by his grandparents. And
he became an aviator?
He became an aviator. He also is one of the pictures we have in our lobby is the first airplane that ever landed in Golovin. He's about seven or eight in that picture, and he's standing by the first picture that landed in Golovin, which was brought in by his uncle, Pete Olson. And that's kind of his first introduction to aviation. And then he went off into the Navy for a little while, and then when he got out of the Navy, he had a friend of his that helped him go through Spartan, and that's where he got his schooling for aviation. And when he came back from Spartan, he worked up on the slope as a mechanic up there, and then when he moved back down to Nome and Golovin, he flew for Munns, and he had a Pacer, and that's how he started. He would rent his Pacer to Munns Airlines and fly for him in the early 50s, and then in the 1960s, actually in 1960, him and his wife Maggie, by then they had 4 children.
Today, Maggie owns 51% of the stock and is the matriarch of the company. Olsen Air Service currently offers 42 scheduled flights a week out of Nome and 28 scheduled flights out of Barrow, Alaska. They fly to Golovin, Unalakleet, Koyuk, Shaktoolik, Elam, White Mountain Council, Teller, Brevig Mission, Wales, Little Diomede, Shishmaref, Gamble, Wainwright, Atkasuk, and Point Lay, Alaska. There are 7 pilots, 8 including the manager, J.R. Beans. Olsen Air has 2 402 twin-engine planes, 3 207 single-engine planes, and a helicopter. So if you'll be flying north, don't forget, a native tradition, Olsen Air.
At Bowhead, remote service is a specialty. Direct through cargo service from the lower 48 to western Alaska and the North Slope is a mainstay of our business and has been offered every summer since 1982. We take pride in our ability to complete virtually any job, even under the most severe Arctic conditions. Find out how Bowhead Transportation Company can help solve your marine transportation needs. We know the Arctic and a whole lot more.
Inhalant abuse is one of the fastest growing drug problems in Alaska. Inhalants are everyday products that young people sniff to get high. The fumes from these chemicals are dangerous, even deadly. Signs to look for include watery eyes, sores around the nose and mouth, chemical breath odor, coughing, or dizziness. Talk to your kids if you think they're sniffing, or call the Alaska Council for more information. Let's team up and beat sniffing.
Chugach Alaska Corporation is extremely proud of what we have accomplished. Through a program of business planning, training, and sound management practices, we have been able to create a unique service organization capable of supporting the needs of both government agencies and private industry. If you are at all interested in putting the talents of our team to work on your project, please call Chugach Alaska Corporation.
What do we know about cultural values? We know it's important to honor traditions and to respect other cultures. It is this sense of tradition that we focus on. At LCMF, we specialize in serving Native Americans. LCMF is a 100% Native-owned company. LCMF services include surveying, engineering, and architectural design. LCMF works to improve your community by honoring traditions.
We travel now south to Florida, thanks to June Degnan. June used to live here in Alaska. She's originally from Unalakleet. She now works for the Seminole Tribe in Hollywood, Florida. By the way, Heartbeat Alaska is broadcast north and south in Florida, thanks to the Seminole Tribe. Let's take another look at the Seminole Tribe, thanks to June Degnan.
Birds sing, frogs sing, somebody sings. And as time went along, I think it just got stuck into my soul somewhere, where an expression of words or whatever it was that you can portray or give to somebody just through words in a short period of time, tell a whole story in a couple minutes, was the idea. And when I saw that, and as time went along, in high school or in Vietnam, I believe it was in Vietnam when it first materialized, songs that I've written. And I sang them to my own troops. I was leader over there and squad leaders and all, but when we returned, we would ventilate through songs. And then after I returned from Vietnam, I wrote some more songs, but nothing with any type of meaning. And then after I was in my late 30s and early 40s, the type of music that I wanted was folk ballads, something that had really more meaning to me, something that I could portray and give out to my own children or older people through a song that they've heard the legend all these years, but now it's in verbatim through music. And every one of my people, one way, shape, or form, love to sing. Even if they can't carry a tune worse than a bullfrog, yet they still like to hum. With that, written some songs, and many of it just depicts my feeling, but better than that, it depicts many people's feelings in my own race, the Seminole people. And I put it into a couple minutes of worth and just take general thoughts. And that's, I guess that's the way it has materialized for me today.
Mama Kogan kayik sa panomi Kahayat leyogika Montan kayik sa panomi Pahikos leidika Sa mayobita tumomi I close my eyes, I see. Well, I was raised out in the country where the sawgrass flower grows. I did a lot of fishing and I did a lot of hunting, you know. I wrestled alligators and I never once got lost in the swamp. And when I go to town, I dance the hell out of the Florida stomp. Well, I'm a hard-riding, truck-driving, surviving, old man. When I play hard. When I work, I do the best that I can. And when my country called, you know, I went to Nam for my Uncle Sam. I'm just a hard-riding, truck-driving, surviving, southern old man. I'm just a good old white man's child. And my bow legs come from riding alligators and crocodiles. Now you may think it's funny, but buddy, I don't give a damn. Cause you see, I'm just a plain old laid-back Seminole man. Ha ha! Well, I'm a hard-riding truck driving.
Chugach Alaska Corporation is extremely proud of what we have accomplished. Through a program of business planning, training, and sound management practices, we have been able to create a unique service organization capable of supporting the needs of both government agencies and private industry. If you are at all interested in putting the talents of our team to work on your project, please call Chugach Alaska Corporation.
Thank you once again for joining us for Heartbeat Alaska. Native news, Native information, Native entertainment. Please, if you have a news item, give us a call here at Heartbeat Alaska, 907-563-7440. If there's an issue that you would like to put on Heartbeat Alaska, please give us a call. And thank you so much, Shishmaref Tannery, for these beautiful slippers, and they're just my size. For all of us here at Heartbeat Alaska, God bless you. Have a fabulous week, and we'll see you again for more Native news next week.
You, one so clever, communist democracy.